Good evening. We will call to order the Guthrie Public Schools Board of Education regular monthly meeting for Monday, May 13th, 2024. Can we get a roll call, please?
Smedley.
Here.
Gerard.
Here.
Husky. Flagg.
Here.
Pearson.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Schroeder.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Item number 4, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. Item number 6, presentation of employees and student of the month.
Mr. Hancock?
President Schroeder, members of the board, Dr. Simpson, welcome to our last month for students and employees of the month this school year. I'm glad to say Nicole Nash, student at Colorado Elementary, was nominated by Ms. Medlock for many wonderful things were said about her. She received a $50 gift card from Foundation Insurance. It was good to see her smile whenever we were there. Next, if you remember last month, we had a certified teacher who was not able to be in the picture, so I pulled her to this month. For April, our certified employee was Ms. Caroline Roberts. She was nominated by Ms. Angela Bandy, and they were both out of guests. This year, or this month, for our support employee, Ms. Patty Smith, she was nominated by Jamie Cook and Eve Fogel out of Charter Oak. It was a great time whenever we got to present this award to her. And then last, for our certified employee, was Ms. Sharon Cochran. She was nominated by Carrie Jarrett. Ms. Cochran's at the junior high, and she accepted this award. All of them received a plaque and a $25 gift card from the Lions Club.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 7A, comments to the board by citizens registered to speak.
Mr. President, we have one citizen registered to speak, Les Kopp, and his topic to address the board is internet safety of students. Mr. Kopp, if you'll come up there closer to the microphone. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Guthrie Public Schools School Board, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Les Kopp, a father of a 4th and 6th grade students at Guthrie Public Schools. Both of my children are IEP students who require extra help from their schools to succeed academically. For the past 6 years, I have been an educational advocate for children who depend on their schools to give them the extra help that they need to succeed, and that is guaranteed to both by the state and federal laws. My past 6 years has been an awakening for me, not only as a taxpayer in Oklahoma, but as a parent of a special needs child. I am saddened to inform you, as the board, that Guthrie Public Schools leadership has been asleep behind the wheel of ensuring that our children remain safe at school from the cyber world. It was recently brought to my attention that students have had the ability to view pornography at school on the district's own electronic devices. Now, the question I have for district leadership is, how long has it been asleep behind the wheel? If students are able to view pornography, what else are they able to do? Can students get onto social media on district-owned devices? Can students get into chat rooms while on district-owned devices? I don't have to remind each of you of the dangers that are present on the internet. Predators count on parents to let their guards down at home while also counting on school leadership to let their guard down. I can say that at my home, we have our Wi-Fi password protected and have parental control software installed and never allow our children to get on their electronic devices unsupervised. So I can guarantee my children's safety from the cyber world while they're at home. But recently, I cannot say the same while they're at school. I am angered that school leadership has failed to ensure my child's safety and demand that each of you hold each other accountable. I'm sure that the local news media would love to hear about your leadership's failure to ensure that your students are safe while using district-owned electronic devices and are not able to view harmful content. I know that Mr. Walters and his staff at the Oklahoma Department of Education will be wanting answers on why the district isn't ensuring daily that its students are safe using the internet while on district-owned electronic devices. If you as district leaderships won't hold yourself accountable, I know that Mr. Walters and his staff will hold each of you accountable. I will not stand aside and continue to allow leadership to brush things under the rug. I have sat in our state legislators' living rooms hearing from parents whose children attended Shawnee Public Schools and have been abused by district personnel, and every complaint that was brushed under the rug. I have worked with our state legislators with passing education legislation with Senate Bill 783 allowing open transfers, House Bill 1775 that prohibits educators from teaching critical race theory, and working on getting Senate Bill 1768 passed, which will limit the number of virtual days a school can have. I have sat down with Mr. Walters personally and expressed my concerns, and hope that you as board members will do the same and hold yourselves accountable and figure out why the district has failed. Thank you.
Thank you for your concerns, Mr. Cobb. Do we have any comments to the board by board members? Agenda item 8, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a lot of things going on this week, as we all know. But I did want to highlight some things one of the things that happened today. We had our Support Staff Appreciation Day, where district leadership went out throughout the district, and we expressed our appreciation for our support staff members and all of the work that they do. And we started that about, probably 8-9 years ago, and it is truly a great experience to go out and celebrate with them all of the things that they do, because they are the backbone of this district that make so many things happen, whether it be getting the kids to school, making sure the buildings they are in are clean and safe, and getting the kids something to eat, and all of the things that we take for granted, and we always want to make sure and take at least one day and let them know that we don't take them for granted. So that was a fun part of today. I want to run down some important dates. Tomorrow night is the Senior Academic Awards Night in the high school gym, beginning at 6:30. And then the baccalaureate service is Wednesday night at 7 p.m. at First Christian Church. And as you know, high school graduation will be at the stadium this year on Friday night, weather permitting, knock on wood, at 7:30 p.m. and we will open the gates at 6 p.m. And then, of course, the last day of school is May 24th. Just a couple of things, announcements for the one thing for the summer months. The 4-day, 10-hour work weeks for administrative staff will begin on June 3rd. And then kind of an update on the legislature appears once again at this time. It seems like, I look at my notes from May of each year, and it seems like we're always about the same spot here. With a budget deal, they're kind of locked up, and we hope that they get a solution, because they're going to have to do it pretty soon if they're going to get it passed without a special session. I've been, as you guys know, I'm always in close contact with our legislators about the needs of our district. In fact, at about 10 after 6 tonight, I took a call from our state senator to discuss some issues and some questions he had. And so appreciate all of the work that they're doing, and I do know that they are listening to us. They also are listening to a lot of other people as well, because that's what they are tasked with doing. So some of the things this spring with our athletic accomplishments, I always try to run down those as we have just completed the series of state championships and playoffs. The boys and girls golf teams both qualified for the state tournament. The girls track team finished 11th, and Lillian Reckland placed 5th in the high jump. Alyssa Vaughn placed 3rd in the pole vault. Taylor Schroeder, you might recognize that name a little bit. She placed 6th in the 3200. And the 3,200-meter relay team placed sixth as a team overall. Girls tennis, number 2 doubles team finished sixth. Number 1 doubles team finished third at state. Boys tennis was the regional champion for the first time in school history, and the number 1 doubles finished third at state, and number 2 doubles finished sixth. Our not just athletics. The other night we and I know some of you joined me. We celebrated a stellar year with our ag education program. Of my 12 years here, I think it's safe to say that this is possibly across the board the most successful that I've seen, and I think it's a testament to the hard work of our students, their parents, and our staff. And I truly appreciate all of the work that goes into all of the success that we've had, and we don't take it for granted, and I know this community is incredibly supportive of our kids. So that's my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Simpson. Item number 9, Cotterill Elementary construction update.
Got Lane here to bring us up to date on Cotterill.
Well, thank you guys for having me again. In April, we made a lot of progress. It's kind of hard to remember because we're in the middle of May now, so I'm trying to think about what we did in April. But we finished all the foundations, all the structural footings for the building, and we did the precast gymnasium, which went really well. We didn't have any issues there. So that itself is a standalone structure, and it's complete structurally. So if it, it won't knock over in wind or a tornado now. It's all put together. Dr. Simpson was worried about it for a while, but no, it's good. That was a huge milestone for us. It allows us to start working inside the gym and move around the rest of the building. Let's see, we began work on underground electrical and plumbing installations for the bathrooms and just for the electrical power lines. You can kind of see in these pictures some of the underground plumbing and the steel for the gym. And then this past week, we poured a slab for all the classroom wings. That was actually in May, but that was another huge milestone for us, and we plan on having all the slabs done by the end of May, which will allow us to move into doing steel, and you'll actually see a structure of the building probably around the middle of June be pretty well complete. So that'll be exciting. Thank you guys.
How are we doing on our timeline? I mean, not to put you on the spot, but I know we've talked about this in construction meetings. Because we had wet weather, but I think I still see a lot of activity out there, even though we've got weather.
Yeah, I mean, we're on schedule. We haven't had any significant schedule delays. A lot of the weather delays is pretty temporary. It's dried up pretty quick, so we may have had a slow day here and there, but we've caught up with it pretty quick. And a lot of our subs work the weekends too, so that helps. But overall schedule, we're on schedule. We plan on being done with the building by spring break of next year, so that's not changing so far.
And I noticed people that are working this last Saturday. The 2 a.m. pour of the concrete. You want to talk about that? too?
Yeah, so when we have large slab pours, it takes a long time for all of that to finish all that concrete properly and to let it cure. And so we typically do it at like 2 in the morning. And so we, I think it was 22,000 square feet of concrete slab that we poured, and they started at 2 a.m. and I think they were done pouring concrete around 6:30. And they spent they worked all day, the rest of the day, finishing it and doing all the stuff they need to do. But it went off without a hitch. That was we didn't have any problems. A lot of times that'll happen, and I'll show up at like 6 or 6:30, and the slab pour didn't happen because something bad happened at 2 in the morning. So it went great.
I'll confess, the picture that was posted on Facebook from about 3:15, I got up in the middle of the night and logged into a camera to get it.
Any other questions for Lane?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lane.
Thanks for being here. Item number 10, consent agenda.
Mr. President, I move that we, approve the consent agenda.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Be any discussion? Please call the roll.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Clag?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item number 11, presentation by Synergistic LLC report.
Ronnie, you gonna introduce your guest to us?
Okay. Hello, members of the board. My name is Ron Phillips. I am the energy specialist here for the district. And here with from Synergistic is Wayne and Carrie, and they're going to present to you our last year's savings going on. We're just getting clear.
Good evening, Dr. Simpson and Mr. President and members of the board. I'm Carrie DeBose with Synergistic, and Wayne Holdren is with me. And we just want to say, while he's setting up, thank you so much for the partnership. We really appreciate being partners with Guthrie Public Schools, and we're excited tonight to be here at the board meeting. So I think Wayne's going to give a quick update, and then we are going to do some Energy Star recognition.
As she said, I'm Wayne Coldren. I'm with Synergistic. Thanks for having us tonight, President Schroeder, Mr. Simpson, and all the board members. So we partnered with Guthrie Public Schools for Energy Conservation Program back in October 21. There's going to be an update through data through January of this year. So as we receive the utility bills, we put them in a program software, analyze the bills, take a look at that, look at anomalies, look at savings or lack thereof. And we're typically 2 to 3 months behind on those utility bills. So let's see, click here, there we go. Total program savings to date is $337,171. It measures the impact of energy program utility consumption with other variables, weather, unit cost, et cetera, factor in 17%, shooting for 20%. There has been a cost per unit impact. Your electricity rates are up from the base year being the year prior to the beginning of our, prior to the beginning of our contract. Electricity rates are up 44%. A lot of that has to do with the Snowmageddon, and there was a polar vortex back in 2021. There's a lot of providers trying to make up some ground there. Natural gas is up 83%, and water is almost flat at about 14%. But had you continued, so I mentioned the $337,000 in savings, but had you continued to use energy the way you did in the base year prior to the change with the energy program, the rates themselves would have cost an additional $250,000, roughly. Here's an energy usage trend. The base year is that red line, and so we're always shooting to be below that. I know the first question would be, what happened right there, January, in the light green? That was January this year when it was, I know you guys had some negative temperatures and Cody doing the right thing to protect the buildings from a bunch of water leaks and stuff like that. But we want to make sure that we're maintaining usage below that line, and then when we have to protect the buildings, we do that. Usage reduction by commodity, so electricity, this is again right off of your utility bills, so we take the usage, put it in the software, and then it analyzes it. Down 16% on electricity, down 19% with natural gas, and down 7% with water. We're very excited about that. Water's a tough one to go after. We're after the electricity and natural gas and try to make sure your water consumption doesn't creep up. Energy use intensity. What that is you have electricity is one unit of measure, natural gas is a separate unit of measure. So we take those two units of measure, blend it together, you get a kBTU number, and divide that by square footage. And so this is an industry term, EUI. So in the base year, your EUI was 59, and that's been reduced by 18% down to a 48.6, and that's great. That's fantastic. There's still more opportunity out there. Work close with Cody, your energy specialist. Where'd you go? Ronnie, to try to go after that and work with the building level folks, work with the maintenance teams, etc. Any questions? I'm kind of rolling through this. Any questions from anybody?
What's the target on that 48.6? What would be our target?
I'd like every building to be under 40. I'm sorry, I don't know where that came. I'd like every building to be under 40. Yeah, get the whole district under 40 would be a great target. I'd love to see 35. I just don't know that would happen in your region. Yeah, 40 is a great goal. Next slide. The environmental impact, based off not using the energy, would be equivalent to 135 million smartphones charged, 34,000 tree seedlings grown for 10 years, or 2,059 metric tons of CO2. And to put that in perspective, a metric ton of CO2 would be take a 2-story building by a 2-story building squared. That's 1 metric ton of CO2. So happy about that impact of 2,000 metric tons of CO2 have not been emitted. Okay, I'm gonna hand this part off to Carrie.
So Energy Star is a program that's run by the EPA and the U.S. Department of Energy, and it promotes superior energy efficiency. And so what Synergistic does is just help with all of the application and the engineers that come in and do all the measuring and signing off on it and apply for it to the EPA. And so for on average, a building that is Energy Star certified is using about 35% less energy. It's causing about 35% fewer greenhouse gas emissions, and it's less expensive to operate. And so to earn Energy Star certification, a building has to be verified to be performing in the top 25% nationwide when it comes to energy efficiency and meet very strict ventilation guidelines. And then last is the Energy Star is the only energy efficiency certification in the U.S. that's really based on actual verified energy performance. And so because of all the dedicated work and the partnership here, and want to thank Cody and Ronnie and the facilities team and all the teachers and staff, Guthrie Public Schools has 4 schools that are being recognized for Energy Star certification. So we really want to say thank you for the district's dedication to sustainability. And so I want to recognize those schools, and then I think we'll call up the schools to get the plaques. So Central Elementary School, Cotterill Elementary School, Fogarty Elementary School, and Guthrie High School. So again, congratulations.
Is there an opportunity for it? I'm not sure what that would look like. Is it? Could we get a picture? Take a picture.
There we go. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
We put down our energy efficient blinds to set the glare.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Any questions on any of this?
So we've reduced our energy consumption, so how do we keep going to that next step? Because we've seen progress, but.
Yeah, so what I can tell you is with my experience and with that EUI of 48, there's still an opportunity to continue to reduce that. And over winter break and spring break, I spent some time in the buildings with Ronnie, auditing, seeing some of those opportunities. We talked about it, working with vendors for, control vendors and then in-house maintenance teams to make sure that the equipment is all efficient and operating properly. Number one, we bring tech leads in, we can provide engineers as well. But then working with the site staff as well, that everybody can do their part. You can do your part, right? Everybody can do their part. And so as we continue over the years, it's always a 5-year contract that we do, because we know the first couple of years, it's a big push to get there. But as we keep getting more people on board behaviorally, we start to see that continue to go down. Yeah.
And I just want to say with all that, our last 2 shutdowns, winter break and spring break, we've had our best shutdown we've had since we started doing it. A lot of contributors to what you guys are doing. I want to thank you guys for helping us out.
Thank you.
And summer will be an optimal time,
That's
with
right.
it being such a longer period of time to do summer setbacks and find savings. So, thank you.
I was going to mention that I really do appreciate Ronnie and the work that he's doing with our staff. I think that and Cody is those 2 guys are working very hard with our staff, and our principals are they bought in as well. to see the performance at Cotterell, knowing how porous that building truly is right now, is kind of amazing. But with the opportunity that we have with a couple of those buildings that didn't make that list too, to really look at their systems. And that's something that we talk about in the property committee, is some of those, couple of those buildings that did not make the list, that possibly we could really start looking at some of those things, and try to get them where they're on that list as well. So, thank you guys.
And we do this annually, so we will have a chance next year to add more to the list.
6, 7. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now to the business agenda. Item 12A, receive bids for the purchase of $3 million general obligation building bond series 2024A of the district and vote to award said bonds to the lowest bidder complying with the notice of sale and instructions to bidders.
We have Jerica Dawson here from Municipal Finance to walk us through this.
Yes.
And you have at your seat the bids from today.
Yes, so we had a successful bid today. The low bidder was BOK Financial Securities with a true interest cost of 3.536569. And so the question I always ask myself is, how's that compared to what we planned? And how does that compare to the last bond sale, just as reference points? So the rate we used for planning this bond sale was 3.569, so it was very close to the planning rate, which means that in terms of marching toward the mill levy impact that we were expecting, those sorts of things were on target. Now we have other factors still coming up, like the net assessed valuation and collections for your ad valorem, but in terms of this one variable, we're on target for what we were expecting. The other factor I brought up was what was the last 2022 B bond sale, and that's a good comp because it was a 10-year bond as well, and this one is a 10-year bond, and the rate on that one was 3.669%, so this is just a little bit under that. I was telling Dr. Simpson before the meeting, rates this last month or so have gone up a little bit, so I was pleased to see that it came in still where we were planning. So I think the two bids we got, you'll see they're very close together, which is always a good sign. You see a good competitive bid when they're kind of close together like that. But I would be happy to entertain any questions about the bids.
Jared, is it typical in these bidding scenarios that, I mean, we've only got 2 bids? I mean, is that normal or?
It's a little lower than what we sometimes see. I went to look because there's a special form we use if there's 3 bids or more, and there's a form we use if there's less than 3 bids. And the last time we had less than 3 bids was 2020, so it's not incredibly unusual. I had another district earlier that sold 2 different bonds at the same time. One of the bonds they sold was under 3 bids, and the other one was over. And so I'm not sure what always plays into the factor of the number of bids we have. It's a little lower, but it's not a huge concern. I don't think it reflects anything about the district's in a great position in terms of their continuing A+ credit rating. They've gotten their audits in on time. Those are the sorts of things we get concerned about with bidders not bidding, is if you don't get your audit in on time and some other factors. That's not at play here at all for the district. The district's in a great position. I don't know if it's a busy market day or, it's a slightly smaller size bond, but sometimes you get more and sometimes you get less. But luckily, I think it's still, like I said, on target with the rate we were expecting, so I'm not concerned about it being a lower number of bidders.
Any other questions? Okay, item B. That's
On this action item?
Yes, to the lowest bid, because this is the one that says vote to award said bonds to the lowest bidder.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the purchase of $3 million general obligation building bond series 2024A of the district and vote to award said bonds to the lowest bidder, BOK Financial Securities, complying with the notice of sale and instructions to bidder.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12B, consider and vote on a resolution providing for the insurance of general obligation bonds in the sum of $3 million by Independent School District Number 1, Logan County, Oklahoma, authorized at an election called and held for such purpose, prescribing forms of bonds, designating bonds as general obligation building bonds, Series 2024A, providing for the registration thereof, approving the form of a continuing disclosure certificate, providing for the levy of an annual tax for the payment of principal of and the interest on the same, and fixing other details of the issue.
So this is just allowing for all the documentation associated with the bond, the low bid you just approved, to be signed and issued per the 2024A bonds.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the resolution providing for the issuance of general obligation bonds in the sum of $3 million by Independent School District Number 1, Logan County, Oklahoma, authorized at an election called and held for such purpose, prescribing form of bonds, designating bonds as general obligation building bond series 2024A, providing for the registration thereof, approving the form of a continuing disclosure certificate, providing for the levy of an annual tax for the payment of principal of and interest on the same, and fixing other details of the issue.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12C, consider and take action on a resolution authorizing the calling and holding of a special election on August 27, 2024 for the purpose of submitting to the registered qualified electors of the Guthrie School District the question of the issuance of general obligation bonds to be issued in series in the sum of $45 million to provide funds for the purpose of acquiring or approving school sites, constructing, repairing, remodeling, or equipping buildings, or acquiring school furniture, fixtures, or equipment as authorized by Section 26, Article 10 of the Oklahoma Constitution, which includes but is not limited to constructing, equipping, and furnishing a new elementary school, and levying and collecting an annual tax in such district for the payment of the interest and principal of said bonds.
This is presented to you on pages 83 through 89. This is, Jared and I worked through this after we had our special board meeting. We've stayed with essentially the same format that we have used in the past on identifying at much higher levels 100% of where this would be allocated. That is a much higher bar than what many districts use, and we have adopted that philosophy because we know that the trust of our community is at the foremost on us passing bond issues. And then what you see is essentially the work of that special board meeting that we had put into a resolution to produce a ballot language. Jared can certainly answer any questions that you might have.
Jared, for clarification purposes, with this $45 million bond issue, it should take us based upon the projections to the 20 millage for our district, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Mr. President, I move that we approve a resolution authorizing the calling and holding of a special election on August the 27th of 2024 for the purchase of submitting to the registered qualified electors of the Guthrie School District the question of the issuance of general obligation bonds to be issued in series in the sum of $45 million to provide funds for the purpose of acquiring or improving school sites, constructing, repairing, remodeling, or equipping buildings, acquiring school furniture, fixtures, and other equipment as authorized in Section 26, Article 10 of the Oklahoma Constitution, which includes but is not limited to constructing, equipping, and furnishing a new elementary school, and levying and collecting an annual tax in such district for the payment of interest and principal of said bonds.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Husky?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
790 nays.
Item 12D, recommendation, consideration, and action to approve teachers, aides, and administrators as listed for 2024 K through 6 remedial summer school.
Page 90 contains the individuals that we want to employ at our summer school, and we always bring this to the board this month for your approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the teachers, the aides, and the administrator as listed for 2024 K through 6 remedial summer school.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Husky?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
790 nays.
Item 12E, recommendation, consideration, and action upon renewal with National Purchasing Cooperative Interlocal Participation Agreement with Buy Board National Purchasing Cooperative for 2024-2025.
This is a renewal of a membership that we have with the purchasing cooperative, and provides us good pricing on many things that we utilize with regard to furniture, and also I think we've actually purchased some of our scoreboards off of there as well. So recommend approval.
Mr. President, I move we approve the renewal of the National Purchasing Cooperative Interlocal Participation Agreement with Buy Board National Purchasing Cooperative for 2024-25.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Husky?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12F, recommendation, consideration, action upon contract with Sodexo, Inc. for 2024-2025 for child nutrition services.
This is an annual item that we bring to you, and if you'll remember, we go through an RFP every 5 years, and I believe we're in year 2? 3. Okay. Lost a year in there. With Sodexo, we bring this to you to re-ratify on an annual basis. Recommend approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the contract with Sodexo, Inc. for 2024-2025 for child nutrition services.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
How
Roll
did-
call.
how
Oh,
did-
go ahead.
How did the fixed price compare this year to previous years? I mean, is that pretty much in line?
Yes, it's a 9% increase from last year, based on the CPI increase of 4.2.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Husky?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12G, recommendation, consideration, and action upon amendment to renew agreement with Clearwater Enterprises for the purchase of third-party natural gas for 2024-2025.
We've had our contract with Clearwater for, gosh, I believe it predates me, with a third-party vendor for natural gas on the facilities that have the capacity to qualify. We have a couple of buildings that do not utilize the capacity to qualify, but the ones that are eligible, we buy our gas through Clearwater for them. Recommend approval at a reduced rate on that.
Mr. President, I make a motion to renew the agreement with Clearwater Enterprises for the purchase of third-party natural gas for 2024 and 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Husky?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12H, recommendation, consideration, and action upon agreement with Alcohol and Drug Testing, Inc. for student drug testing services for 2024-2025.
Page 104 through 105, this will be a new vendor for us this coming year. Mr. Hancock, when he put out the RFP, found comparable services for less expense and still provide the same services. And so we're going to go with this new vendor for the next school year. Recommend approval.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the agreement with Alcohol and Drug Testing, Inc. for student drug testing services for 2024-2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12I, recommendation, consideration, and action upon agreement with Jessica Waddle, certified occupational therapist, to provide occupational therapy during the 2024-2025 school year.
This is, Angie, is this a renewal from last year? That's what I was thinking.
Replace a staff member that was part-time, 20 hours a week. And she is an assistant, she just doesn't get it.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the agreement with Jessica Waddle for certified occupational therapist to provide occupational therapy during the 2024-25 school year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12J, recommendation, consideration, and action upon approval of agreement with Tiffany Kites to provide speech therapy services for the 2024-2025 school year.
Pages 113 through 115 is the agreement with Ms. Kites for speech therapy. Recommend approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Tiffany Kites to provide speech therapy services for 2024-2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12K, recommendation, consideration, and action upon a renewal agreement with Ms. Teresa Ewing to provide physical therapy services for 2024-2025.
We contracted with Ms. Ewing for a vast number of years for physical therapy services and want to renew that agreement. Pages 116 through 118, recommend approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion to renew the agreement with Ms. Teresa Ewing to provide physical therapy services for 2024 and 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 12L, recommendation, consideration, and action upon contractual agreement with Beth McLean for occupational therapy services for extended school year June and July 2024 and 2024-2025 school year.
Remember, pages 119 and 120 is the contract with Ms. McLean. You remember that we, by law, are required to provide some of these services throughout the summer months with some of our students, depending on their disabilities, and Ms. McLean has done that, as well as what we will be utilizing her services for during the next school year. Recommend approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the contractual agreement with Beth McLean for occupational therapy services for extended school year June and July 2024 and 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 12M, recommendation, consideration, and action upon agreement between Guthrie Public Schools and Oklahoma Department of Human Services to provide school-based specialists for 2024-2025.
Pages 121 through 145 have this agreement. You'll remember that we started this program with ESSER funds, and one of the things as this program evolved, it has been a 50% match with our with DHS for the salaries of these three individuals in these positions. DHS, I'm not sure what their motivation is. Don't really care as long as it helps us. But they have sweetened the pot with this, and they are going to contribute 80% of the salaries for these staff members, and we will contribute 20%, which originally this was a difficult decision because we know the value, and I'm looking at the principals as they're nodding, and they're you know, they know the value of what these positions have meant to our students and our school sites. I know the value that they possess, but I also know that this was one of the things that we were really struggling with, that we were possibly going to have to give up in the course of the loss of ESSER funds. With the adjustment in the ratio of DHS payment versus the school district, we believe that we can make this a budgeted item for next year. We also have an application under consideration that we will know later on in the month, hopefully in the month of May, with something that Chris put us on to early on that could potentially pay for our 20%. And we are obviously going to take advantage of that if we get that grant. But we were at a point with the folks that we have right now that we needed to let them know if we were going to do this or not, and we needed to commit. And so that's when I met with Michelle, Dr. Chappell, and I, and we worked out where we feel like we can fund this in general fund if we have to for a year. With the staff, we've made no qualms that there's nothing guaranteed past this coming year, but we feel comfortable that we can do this for a year. And then I would ask the board to approve this agreement. And quite frankly, if the ratio of funding from DHS and the district had not changed, we probably would be talking about possibly keeping one at the most. So that's really where we are right now. But we're going to be able, with this agreement and this approval, we can keep all three.
Mr. President, I move we approve the agreement between the Guthrie Public Schools and the Oklahoma Department of Human Services to provide school-based specialists for the 2024-25 year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Hetzke?
Yes.
Clegg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12N, recommendation, consideration, and action to accept each bid as listed for lawn services for Guthrie Public Schools for 2024-2025.
Page 146 has the bid tabulation sheet for our lawn care. Would recommend, since the only bid we received was Hudson Lawn Care, would recommend that we approve them as the person to provide those services for the school year.
Let's hope John never quits.
Mr. President, I move that we accept each bid as listed for lawn services for Guthrie Public Schools for 2024-2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What's the issue with not getting bids?
What's the question?
What's the issue with not getting more bids and just?
Everybody that we've talked to wants to get the whole bid. They don't want to come up here for 2 or 3 schools. It's not worth their block, and most of them come from the city. The people that we've talked to in close to us want more than what they can probably get here when they put the bid in. We've tried them locally, and they've been underbid by other people like Hudson. So Hudson gives us a good price for what we're getting. The other guys just want, and normally they already have their summers full, but the ones who want to come up here, I know 2 or 3 we've talked to, if we get it, we want to get the whole thing, not just 1 or 2 schools.
And, you know, a little history on this that even predates Cody's presence in the district. We broke it up at the request of the board at the time to see if we could get more competition that way. It doesn't necessarily have to be done that way. If the board would like to see it done differently in the future, this was, but breaking it up by site was a request from the board to receive bids prior to this. We were getting quotes, and it was not a sealed bid process. And so, but, you know, it would, if you'd like to see it done differently for the following year, we can certainly do that. But that's how we got where we are.
So other than what you just explained, is there really any advantage to doing it by site?
Not the way it's going now.
Okay.
We're all putting it all out in one bid for all the sites and see what we come up with next year. Who wants to do that?
Well, why wouldn't we consider both? Like if like right now, I mean, if someone is lower bid for all the sites versus just doing it individually, why wouldn't we consider a larger bid for all the sites if it was lower?
We certainly could. This was, what we're doing right now is direction from the board. And we were following the direction the board gave us, and we followed that. But it has evolved into this in the last, I don't know,
2 or 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? We got a motion and a second on the table, right? Okay, roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 12O, recommendation, consideration, and action to accept each bid as listed for spraying for weed control services for Guthrie Public Schools for 2024-2025.
You see on page 147 that we only received one bid on that. One of the things that I've, in addition to some of the similar situations, one of the things that we are limited here because there is a licensing condition that we place on whoever the successful bidder is, that they must be licensed as well. I don't know, Cody, is there anything else that you can?
Both of them, lawn care and pre-emergency, post-emergency. It's the overhead too. The guys that are getting these bids don't have the overhead. You know what I mean? They do a good job. Hudson Lawn Care does a really good job for us. It's him and usually 2, maybe 3, either they were in high school or former high school kids of ours that are actually doing the lawn care. And our pre-emergency, post-emergency is done by one individual, but somebody helps him. Just no overhead. When the other guys, the big companies see this, they have the overhead where he doesn't. That's why his bid is low.
Motion.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the bid for spraying for weed control services and award it to Turf Surfers for 2024-2025.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Husky?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 12P, recommendation, consideration, and action upon temporary appropriations for 2024-2025 for the general fund, building fund, child nutrition fund, gifts and endowments fund, and insurance casualty fund.
This is on page 148 of your packet, and this is an annual item that we bring at this time to get us started for the school year until we can get our estimate of needs and approved. So we need to approve this so that we can start the school year next year, essentially.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the temporary appropriations for 2024-2025 for the general fund, building fund, child nutrition fund, gifts and endowments fund, and insurance casualty fund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Husky?
Yes.
Flagg?
Yes.
Agenda item 12Q, recommendation, consideration, and action upon agreement with Oklahoma State Department of Education for the 2024 Summer Food Service Program.
This is an annual agreement that we bring to you at the May board meeting to, it's required that the board approve our summer feeding dates, times, and locations. And so that is what pages 149 will do with your approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the agreement with the Oklahoma State Department of Education for the 2024 Summer Food Service Program.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 12R, recommendation, consideration, and action upon a survey to students by Tanya Nichols for doctoral research.
Survey, you know, there's, as you all know, there is a board policy that requires any survey that will be given to students that be approved by the Board of Education. And Ms. Nichols is working on our doctoral research, and she has a survey with regard to attendance and truancy that she's working on with her dissertation topic, and would recommend that we approve the survey will be given to students, I believe at favor, that attend favor.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the survey to students by Tanya Nichols for her doctoral research.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
All right. What the audience has been waiting for. Item 13, proposed executive session for the purpose of discussing employment of personnel, FMLA requests, resignations, separation from employment, and transfer of position requests. All is set out on the personnel reports, extra duty assignments as listed for 2023-2024, rehiring of support personnel is listed for 2024-2025, employment of temporary contract teachers is listed for 2024-2025, employment of probationary teachers is listed for 2024-2025, discussion of employment of director of special education, discussion of teacher negotiations for 2024-25, disclosure of which information will violate the confidentiality requirements of state and or federal law, all pursuant to 25 Oklahoma statute, section 307B, 1, 2, and 7. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Second that.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
All right, welcome back. She's staying. Item 13B, we'll acknowledge the board's return to open session. 13C, only items in Agenda 13 were discussed in executive session and no votes were taken. This shall constitute the executive session minutes. Agenda item number 14, vote on action as set out in the personnel reports.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the personnel reports.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Pearson? Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item number 15, action upon recommendation of extra duty assignments as listed for 2023-2024.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the extra duty assignments as listed for 2023-2024.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley?
Yes.
Gerard?
Yes.
Huskey?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item number 16, action upon recommendation to rehire support personnel as listed for 2024-2025.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the rehire of support personnel as listed as for 2024-2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley,
Yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
Husky,
Yes.
Clag,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item number 17, action upon recommendation to rehire temporary contract teachers as listed for the first semester of 2024-2025.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the recommendation to rehire temporary contract teachers as listed for the first semester of 2024-2025.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley,
Yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
Husky,
Yes.
Clag,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 18, action upon recommendation to rehire probationary contract teachers as listed for 2024-2025.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve to rehire the probationary contract teachers as listed for 2024-2025.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley,
Yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
Husky,
Yes.
Clag,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Recommendation, consideration, and action on the hiring of a new Director of Special Education.
Mr. President, I would recommend that the board hire Caitlin Sager-Smith as our new Director of Special Education and Special Services.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the hiring of Caitlin Sager-Smith as the new Director of Special Education.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley,
Yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
Husky,
Yes.
Clag,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Congratulations.
Welcome.
Agenda item number 20, recommendation, consideration, and action to accept any resignations offered since the posting of the agenda.
Mr. President, I have one resignation that I would ask the board to accept tonight, and that is the resignation of Ms. Kendra McNew at Guthrie Upper Elementary.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the resignation of Kendra McNew.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smedley,
Yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
Husky,
Yes.
Clag,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item number 21, discussion and possible action on new business not known about or could have not been reasonably foreseen at the time of the agenda posting.
We have none.
Item 22, adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Smedley,
Yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
Husky,
Yes.
Clag,
Yes.
Pearson, I'm sorry, Davis,
Yes.
Schroeder.
Yes.